Okay.
All right, 4 of us on here. 5. 1, 2, 3, 5 of us, right?
Yes.
All right, perfect. And I think we're recording now. All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's Mayor and Manager meetings for Wednesday, March 15th. Online with me is Deputy City Clerk Sarah Harkness, City Manager Shawn Lewis, City Clerk Stephanie Carlisle, and City Attorney Tamara Niles. Shawn, do you want to kick us off?
Sure. We'll start with the meeting on March 20th. We have information update on City Center core redevelopment concept plans. And looks like we've got that presentation time, 10 minutes. Do you want to set discussion time here?
Well, we'll say 50 minutes on that.
Okay. And then resolution establishing city council meeting dates in July 2023. Resolution of support for a ground lease agreement between Inglewood McClellan Reservoir and Integrity Motors.
Mhm.
And that one we need to assign some times to. Sorry, Sarah, I'm trying to do this as we go instead of my normal, just run through everything and then come back. Yeah, so presentation, we don't.
No, since this is an item, we don't set times for those.
Oh, thank you, resolution.
Mhm.
And then we've got the resolution, let's see, boarding commission member appointment. Approving the participation agreements for opioid settlements with Teva Pharmaceuticals and others. A motion awarding professional service agreement with Reynolds Construction for city ditch piping. And then an award of professional services agreement with SCMA Construction for Big Drag Creek Diversion Project. Another contract with Hazen and Sawyer for lead and copper reduction program services.
Okay.
Still, oh, Sarah, do you want us to answer that?
Sorry. Did we want to put that one on consent or no?
No on the Hazen.
Okay.
Okay.
Next.
And then we have proven ordinance to approve purchase of 70 new golf carts. An ordinance amending the scope of NIGA with Arapahoe County and the Tri-Cities. And then approving the ordinance amending Inglewood Municipal Code regarding licensure of hotels, bed and breakfast. First reading of a major subdivision, first reading of a PUD at West Oxford, IGA with Littleton for dispatch all health mobile response unit. It's amending code sections regarding fermented malt beverage and wine retailers, and then an ordinance for 2023 IGA with RTD for funding of the Inglewood Trolley. So it looks like all three of those are consent, marked consent. We can scroll up. We'll just go backwards through the list. First readings, of course. And then no. Oh, so was that the only question mark, Sarah?
Yes, that was the only question mark. We have 3 motions and 1 resolution not on consent, and 1 second reading not on consent, and the 2 PUDs or the from the public hearing.
Okay.
Gotcha.
So just based off the discussion we had last night, so we're going to have the agenda as is, hoping to get through all the items with the PUD and public comment. If not, we're going to have the items that we're not able to get to on Wednesday night. So I'm just trying to figure out the timing of it. So obviously we're going to be going through public comment, unscheduled public comment. Then the next one is going to be consent items. And then after that's going to be the PUD. Am I understanding that right? And then other items behind that.
Yes.
Okay.
No, the PUD is for first reading, which would have.
Oh yeah, that's right, because it just part of the items. So we would want to put that at the top to make sure that out of all the items that are not regular motions and resolutions and ordinances, that all should be, that's going to be after public or after consent agenda, since there's no PUD.
Correct.
Okay.
So it'd go public comment and then anything on consent, and then it would be all the independent items considered.
Yeah, and we would want to have the Sam's Automotive at the top of that section, Stephanie.
And it would be because it's first readings for both, so it would be at the beginning
Okay, perfect.
of after consent, obviously.
Correct.
And I just wanted to mention that the last 4 items are all for utilities. And depending on how heavy those items are, I don't know if you'd be open to planning in advance to move those to the 22nd, along with a study session item from the 27th, also for utilities. Because those all appear to be kind of big items. It could also alleviate some pressure from the 27th if we planned ahead.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So you've already jumped ahead to the 27th, Sarah?
I was thinking about the 22nd, the possibility, instead of, if you guys would want to consider planning the meeting for the 22nd instead of waiting to decide at the end of the night. It does look pretty heavy. All of the final 4 items are all Peter Van Rye items, utilities, pretty heavy items. That would come after the discussion for the public hearing. And there's also an item from the 27th. That's also a utilities item that could potentially move to the 22nd as well. It would alleviate pressure from both of the meetings and provide some certainty regarding the agenda. Just an
My
option.
guess is, my guess is, I don't want to jump ahead because I'm not sure how Monday's going to go, but my guess is that those items for utilities, since we covered it in water and sewer board yesterday, are going to take some time. I think there's going to be a lot of questions on that. So my guess is those would move to the 22nd. Let's go through the items for the 27th before I make a determination on that strategic execution.
Okay.
So we're now on the 27th. I think we're good on the 20th unless there's any other comments.
Okay. We are looking at study session on utility strategic execution. Presentation phase 2, charter review. Presentation by Arapahoe County representatives regarding Arapahoe County Opioid Council. And then the monthly financial report for February. Overview of code adoption for building and fire. Discussion of proposed revisions to the city's short-term rental regulations. And any of those that you want to go ahead and schedule, Mayor, or just wait? In terms of timing.
And these all need to be on the 27th, that they're all time sensitive?
The utilities one could move to the 22nd if we schedule the meeting for the 22nd. The charter review, that would be a question for Tamara if that's flexible or not.
I don't think it is. It's council's schedule to come in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we've got consultant on that one.
And what do we have here? Okay, so that probably needs to stay.
And
Okay.
this one also, the Arapahoe County opioid also has consultants, and that date was requested by them. Do we want to just assign a time so we kind of have an idea of how long? Okay.
I would say that's a 20-minute presentation. I would say a 15-minute discussion.
And then our monthly financial report.
I would say let's try to limit that presentation to 5 minutes, so if we can let Director Lowe know about that. But yeah, 5 and 5.
Okay.
Because we all read the packet, so if we could just go over the high level on the monthly financial.
Okay. And then the
overview of code adoption for building. I could see about 15 or 20-minute discussion on this. Because does this have to do with the code adoption for building and fire?
It's really talking about your local amendments that you want to make to the building and fire code. So I agree with you, Mayor.
Okay, let's put a 15-minute discussion on that.
Okay. And then revisions to short-term rental requirements. or
That one could
regulations.
take a little bit. That one could take longer. Let's put 30 minutes on there. I know we
Okay.
talked about it quite a bit, but I can't recall where we stood on that.
Okay, so it looks like 45 total on short term, 25 on code, 10 on monthly financial, about 50 minutes or so on opioids, an hour for charter review, and almost an hour for utilities.
That one actually didn't take that long. Yesterday, Deputy Director Stone took us through it, and the presentation was about 10 minutes, 10 minutes of discussion. So that wasn't too long.
Yeah, we might ask them, Sarah, to reduce that presentation to 15 instead of 30.
Okay.
If Sarah was able to do that.
Yeah. Let's potentially add that one for the 22nd because it does kind of dovetail into the items that are up for vote. So let's potentially add that as the 22nd. Sarah.
Okay, just have one question regarding posting the meeting. If we're just going to roll over, put it on the agenda for the 20th, that the meeting will roll into the 22nd if it goes over. Adding this after the fact makes it a bit difficult. So I don't know if you guys wanted to plan in advance or just let things roll over if it happens to come to a certain time.
I guess we would add it on the 20th, not as a study session item, but as a, well, there's nothing to vote on, is there? It's just a strategic plan.
Yeah, study session.
Yeah.
It could, yeah. It could still be your study session, but to Sarah's point, y'all would need to mention that on the 20th, that you also want to pull this one into that special meeting.
Okay. Let's do that. We just have too many items.
All right.
And then city attorney, regarding the city charter, does it make sense for us to push that back? I know we have quite a bit of items. I didn't keep track of the timing on that, Sarah, for the 27th, but how, without the strategic execution plan with utilities, how much time do we have on the agenda currently? Did anybody keep track of the times?
I think it's at 3.
So 3 hours without the strategic execution.
No, with the did anybody else calculate it? I did. I figured out 3 with an hour for utilities.
I think we're like at 3.5, 4 hours.
Oh gosh, okay. I missed something.
Okay. Are
But
we good to go?
Well, I was gonna say, Tamara, that's not a time sensitive issue, is it? I know we pushed back on that already a couple of times, or pushed it back a couple of times, but I'm just wondering.
We are scheduled to have 2 final presentations, this one and then one more. So I could see if we could just combine these last 2 into one final one and do it in April instead of have the March one.
How does April look for us right now? I guess that's the question now. And it would be the final month or final study session in April.
And we could probably push that back into May and then do the final, what we want to adopt to put on the ballot in June and then adoption in July. We're just trying to keep in mind the schedule to put things on the ballot. That's the only reason there's a time element.
Yeah, I say let's keep it right now for the 27th. Just looking at what's coming up at the end of April.
Okay.
So I think, are we all in agreement then? So we will add the utilities to the schedule for this coming Monday. We potentially will push that out to the 22nd with some of the other items if it comes to that.
I think that works for utilities because they ideally initially wanted to have that on the 20th as well, because it should come before their items that they have to vote on. I think that would work well.
Okay, perfect.
All right, moving on to April 3rd, we have the annual report of Inglewood's contract with emergency management. Wish I could have remembered that date on Monday when this came up. And then draft electric vehicle action plan, Bates Logan Park renovations, phase 2. Arbor Day proclamation, approving a change order, contract with CPS. Dartmouth Bridge widening project construction management, and an executive session. Oh, there's one more. Ordinance approving Comcast cable TV franchise agreement. All right, do we want to just keep moving, Mayor? Any questions on those?
No, but it seems like a lighter agenda in terms of items for actual vote, but okay.
Yeah. And then April 10th, we have victims compensation funds, mechanisms for consideration in Inglewood, and then preliminary 2024 revenue and expenditures underlying forecast assumptions, proposed revisions to telecommunications code. Excuse me. On April 17th, we'll have consideration of Citizen of the Year, non-enterprise fund capital project prioritization, Elevate Inglewood graduation, Earth Day proclamation, Small Business Week proclamation, adoption of the EV action plan, council bill revising short-term rental regulations, and first reading of code adoption for building and fire. And then on April 24th, we have review preliminary capital projects, March 2023 monthly financial report, 6th and final presentation, phase 2 of charter review. And then I'm going to do one more, May 1st, Public Service Week, National Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, proven bill for an ordinance to repeal Inglewood Municipal Code regarding cable TV customer standards. It looks like we've got a few things on the parking lot items, city-owned land for affordable housing. I was able to present on that at Tri-Cities. So I think we could go ahead and have a discussion about that, Mayor, whenever y'all are ready. I just want to make sure Tri-Cities was on board with that first, and then joint study session with council and code next committee. I'll work with planning and planning staff on that. We would like to do that sooner than later.
Yeah.
Now that we have pretty clear direction from council on this. And then I think we've got the date for the study session with the judge. Sarah or Stephanie, can y'all just, what's that?
Wasn't it May? Sometime
I
in May?
think so. Can the clerk's office just reach out to Kenitha and confirm that date and have them fill out the form?
Yes, we can do that.
Thank you. And then returning to in-person. So this one actually is the one that Rita requested. And so this one, we just need to plug in a time. But this was limited to actually P&Z.
Yeah, it wasn't for all. It was P&Z specifically.
Yeah.
But we can have a conversation about whether or not hybrid remote for the other ones. But that one was specific in person for P&Z.
Right. And so when do you want to schedule that for, Mayor? That one seemed more time.
It did, but I'm also looking at the schedule for April. I'm kind of concerned about the schedule for the 24th of April. Was it the 24th? Yeah. We have capital projects, plus we have the charter review. Charter review is usually an hour. Capital projects list is an hour and a half for presentation only. That's a long night. I'm not sure what it looks like on the 13th, though. What does the 13th look like for the planning and zoning conversation?
I don't have anything for the 13th.
Well, I mean, how much time do we have on the right now for the 10th?
Oh, for the 10th, okay.
Yeah, sorry. I'm looking at March's calendar, but saying April. Victim compensation, revenue, 30-minute presentation. We may want to slide it in there. Rules revisions. Just depending on the timing of it, Shawn, I think the 10th probably makes the most sense.
Okay.
Makes more sense than the 24th.
Stephanie, Nancy Fenton asked me what is needed for that. I think since that's Community Development's board, can you have them enter that?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So I think that's all on the parking lot. I emailed Krista during the council meeting and said no council requests, and then I think Rita made one, and I've got Kozak request.
Yeah, Kozak about the 10-foot fence. I think there was conversation back and forth between with Jim Woodward as well. Apparently there was a promise for a 10-foot fence, and I just don't know the history behind it, but it seemed like Rita and I'm not sure exactly where that 10-foot fence was supposed to go, but it had something to do with the yeah, I'm not completely sure. I should have asked for clarification from Rita, but you may
Yeah, and I
want to
don't think
regarding that 10-foot fence and where it was supposed to go, when was the promise made? Yeah,
and this was a 10-foot fence where?
that's the question, because it was a 10-foot fence somewhere along Oxford and Santa Fe, but I'm not sure exactly where. So I'm not sure if it was like a promise made as part of Fast Tracks when the light rail went in, or if it was a promise made when what's the name of the apartments right there off of
Oxford Station.
the Oxford Station apartments. I'm not sure if it was a promise made there, so I should have asked for clarification. But Shawn, it may make sense to reach out to Rita to get specifics.
Okay, but that's the only one I took down. Did
That's
anybody
the only
else
one I
get
have as
one?
well. Yeah. That's all I have. So anything else from staff?
I don't have anything.
All right, there's nothing
From
from
me.
me. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for your time this morning. Everyone have a great day.
All right, you too.
Thank you, everyone.